Including all of us, you know?
Including every science professor of every university.
Yeah, totally.
What I can't believe is how nobody has noticed all of these things.
Like, more, like, people that are stupider than us combining shit.
You mean like half the population, like George
I mean, they're not even smart to realize they might be wrong, so that's pretty alarming.
None of us have twigged. But nobody in the universities, none of the top scientists.
No, especially those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm talking about the average Joe and shit.
You've got
people who are way stupider than us combined. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
probably even less than the common denominator, or if you want to call it like
the
more
walking man, and like people actually catch on.
The standard Mexican and shit, for example.
I'm talking about myself here. The simpler people catch on quicker. Like, it took me 6 months.
You think so?
But really, really well educated people, sometimes they're never going to see it, and sometimes it might take them a year.
But how do you know they even want to think about it?
Well, none of us do want to think about it. No one wants to be a flat earther. It's embarrassing as hell.
Of course.
So when you even think about it as a possibility, this is what went through my mind. I remember thinking, there's no possibility the Earth's flat, but if there is a 1% possibility that the Earth's not a globe, then I might be tricked into learning it, and then I'd be a flat earther, and I don't want to be a flat earther.
But how do you? How important is that point? I mean, because you now believe or disbelieve a lot more shit than just a flat Earth.
It doesn't mean a shit. And you know what? The best thing for me is, I didn't want to go into the science. I was bored by it even before I started. I thought, I'm not interested in this spherical equation for trigonometry of the curve or whatever. The spherical trigonometry equation for the curve. I'm not interested in that stuff. I'm not interested in the moon goes around the sun. If it's all in
numbers, you should be able to do them yourself.
And
I never cared to do them stuff because they were in the physics book.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is,
and the physics books are quite thorough and shit.
They are very thorough, but everybody gets to a point, except that 0.5% of the highest educated of the population, where they lose interest or drop off or can't go there into those big equations that prove gravity or relativity or whatever. Those big equations.
Just for instance here, just to evolve from the previous conversation, like from yesterday and shit, like at least you acknowledge that the numbers within their number system, which might not even be consistent, but it makes sense in numbers. Like the theory.
Maths is just a descriptive language, and it can be used to describe anything.
It's totally a tool. Yeah, it's totally a tool that we kind of use to make it easier to quantify things that are more abstract and shit.
Or to describe to people something that may or may not be reality.
Yet it's more than that, because there's just like tools and symbols and just complicated sticks that we use to make big calculations and therefore like assumptions and prove or disprove certain ideas or theories or whatever. But there have been several examples of it being the other way around. Like, you're just playing around with numbers, and then all of a sudden a fucking pretty big revelation will come, and it's like, this thing is outside. Like, it's wow, the thing is, and then you just take that filter and kind of look around the universe, and you plug it. Of course, you plug it into a black hole. You plug it into whatever.
Exactly.
In the field
whatever you currently think may be true. Like in
astrophysics is the field that it is today because it works so well with mathematics, and you can't. That's true.
Mathematics has been used as proofs for whatever theorizing they have given us. Maths has been used to not prove, but to attempt to describe how their theories could be so. And because the maths is extremely complicated in the cases of what gravity is,
it's not just complicated, but it's very
relativity. It's so complicated.
It's more complicated than science. It's almost like art.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because in order to grasp the finer and deeper truths that math has to reveal, you gotta bend, exercise, and fucking do gymnastics the fuck with your brain in order to grasp different dimensions, and to imagine topology, and to imagine how to think of a problem in a completely different way, almost in a completely different shape, graph, or space. And like math, it's a language that we use to describe all this crazy shit, and yet people have, from different angles, without even knowing each other or not even knowing mathematics, just grasp it intuitively, learn the language, and reveal incredible, profound truths about light and the universe and us. But you have to look at it. It's almost like it's a poetic description of the universe, of God, of whatever you want to call it.
But it doesn't mean it's true.
No, it kind of does. Like once, but this is above numbers.
Proof,
it's above NASA.
It's like saying 1 and 2 can equal 3, but 2 and 1 can equal 3. And there is maths that can make the heliocentric cosmos work, and there is maths that can make the geocentric cosmos
but think about this,
work.
which is my broader point. Sometimes people have stumbled. People have stumbled upon beautiful, crazy shit on mathematics, which the whole world will be like, "This is ridiculous." Well, it's crazy pretty, but this is useless. I mean, what is this? You're just doing poetry with numbers. What is this? What is this you're doing? And then, decades later, it's like,
wow,
dude, this guy did perfectly this other shit, which at the time we were fucking oblivious about.
You can consider something like Einstein discovering gravity and something like that. And, them last 2 years ago coming out and going, we discovered gravitational waves.
Dude, this is different. This is something that, like, a person who's a truth seeker, and a lot of these people that have discovered this kind of shit that I'm describing are like spiritual people and shit, like Ramanujan and shit.
To be a
this is beyond Einstein.
I know,
like this is.
But I'm just using an example for you.
It's a good example.
Einstein's held up as somebody who's a spiritual kind of scientist.
Well, what he did do is kind of like this was the guy that he was not the first to think about it actually, but he was the guy that illustrated it and explained it in a way that would convince all the people who said like, nah, this guy's fucking crazy in fucking India or China, like this is not math. It took him,
thank God there were those people, because he was getting promoted so heavily by those of the establishment that everybody ended up taking him as the genius of the times, when he was overshadowing and downplaying everything Tesla was showing us.
It was.
And it was all for industry.
But the thing is, no. I mean, certainly, Einstein had a profound effect. Not just at that moment he released his shit, which was pretty early on in his thing. He already had a Nobel Prize thing for something completely different, like Brownian movement. He was involved in other shit, but it was such a profound change just because he wrote it in a way and in a very simple language, which he did, very clear.
He was an actor,
and so he I guess in a way manipulated it in such a way, and the circumstances were right and everything, so that not just like the scholars and the academia and shit, but other people surrounding that, and then just the regular folk, educated folk, to understand that you have to think about space and time and matter and energy and light in a completely different.
But at the same time, it's all nonsense.
No, well, here
it was the
okay.
selling.
Look at it exactly, but look at it like this. It's like you're thinking about time and space and matter and energy and everything, and it looks kind of like a disorganized Rubik's cube. Okay. Let's say you have like a scrambled Rubik's Cube, and then Einstein comes, and that's how you think about this, just like...
Einstein did? He came along and he peeled all the stickers off and he put them on the right faces to make it look like he solved the Rubik's Cube. And he never solved the Rubik's Cube. But this is something I want us to think about, like, we were talking earlier about...
Well, what I'm saying is it only takes like maybe 4 steps.
Yeah.
Four impossibly correct steps to make an unorganized Rubik's Cube look
And you kind of need to be autistic to have the genius to make those intuitive
right, because
leaps.
nobody realizes that the Rubik's Cube, even though it's just a little cube, it has like fucking billions of permutations. Like it's just, you couldn't feel, I mean, you need more atoms than there are in the universe than there are, like the Rubik's Cube have more permutations than that. So it's kind of ridiculous. And from when you're 4 steps away from solving a Rubik's Cube, you know, you can't see it, I can't see it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it takes.
That's
and
why
but Einstein was like, all right, to get from this point to this point, all you gotta do is bend the whole shit like this, and there you go.
Yeah.
And it's convincing because
nobody else can do it.
No, and it's convincing. It's like, okay, so all I gotta do is think about trains and cars and flashlights.
Yeah.
Yes.
But at first no one can do it, but then a year, 2, 10, 20 years later, everyone can kind of do it because they've copied the methods.
No. I mean, I've in my generation, like I haven't. I mean, I cannot claim that I can, for example, calculate.
No, but if you.
Let me finish though. This is very interesting to whoever fucking debates you about satellites and GPS.
Yeah.
The existence of GPS, it's what most people I think would tell you, like, dude, we have GPS and we know where we are and shit.
98% of information is undersea.
But listen to this. So because to measure your to measure and to pinpoint your location on Earth, of course you need like the right distance and everything, but you need to keep a very specific time. Why? Because satellites are up there.
Supposedly. They can't get anything in the southern hemisphere.
Well,
everything's lost from GPS in the southern hemisphere.
Let me finish though, because I don't think you know this. Very people know this, but you should know this.
Okay, go.
You should know this.
I'm excited.
One of the proofs of relativity, all right, supposedly.
Go for it.
So one of the practical things we do with relativity, it's satellite and like orbital dynamics and that kind of shit. Why? Because the core of the Earth, like it's where most of the mass of the planet supposedly, like picture it as a sphere.
Yeah. You know, I'm suspended like, those disbeliefs, but
even that's possible.
Yeah,
but
for me, yeah.
Just
but
imagine.
It's a molten metal core, and it's heavy.
I know it's crazy, but imagine the Earth is a ball.
I know it's crazy. I know. Good for you. Yeah. Just suspend my disbeliefs.
It's crazy. I know. But what if it was a ball? I don't know. Like it's just crazy.
But you know, okay, make your point because then I want to make a point too.
Okay, let's breeze through it. But I could go deeper if somebody would want to talk about it.
You can always go deeper.
No. Push it some more. A lot of people will claim, well, duh, GPS, like
every single person you speak
that means,
to, yes.
That means you're stupid. And not only the Earth is not flat, everything you have to say is dumb.
Yeah, of course. But they don't know that 98% of all signals are sent under the sea. They don't know that it was invented by Arthur C. Clarke. They don't know that the whole southern hemisphere goes off GPS. They don't know that men love being wankers and talking about how the football game comes from a satellite dish and that we've got all this great technology and you know we went to the moon. They don't want to admit or that maybe men aren't as great as they say they are, and because they're on that team, they're on NASA's team, they're on the GPS team, they're on the look at my watch, it tells me where I am.
No, I understand perfectly what you're trying to say, and it's undeniable.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main reasons they're going to say like GPS works and shit. Yeah. Okay, but do you know, for example, that it's not about how you say getting a tin can out there with Mentos and Pepsi, right? Like,
it's a lot more than that, man. It's fucking $19 billion a year going to waste.
Because the distance from the Earth's surface and the distance where the satellite is being fixed in
geocentric orbit,
synchronous, orbit. It means that the gravity or to use Einstein's fucking idea, the warp of space-time near the center of the, of the Earth is bigger, and so because of that, and because it's a space-time fabric, it's kind of like, expanded or bent differently where the satellite is compared to where we are, and so that makes it, we experience light the same way. That's why light is constant. Light is the only thing that exists to us compared to each other, not to light. It appears as if time is going slower, and all these things that relativity kind of like reveals and makes it fall into place for anyone to understand it. And so that means that the satellite is experiencing different time that we are here on Earth, and so those very small adjustments, even though the speed of light is part of the equation, that means when you divide by the speed of light, obviously the effect is minuscule. But because we live in a time with like electronics and very fast processors, and we need to keep we can keep very accurate time, we have the sufficient technology to measure those very, very small differences that we have to adjust to, so that we can have the exact fucking pinpoint location at the exact fucking same time.
It's all bullshit.
Well, okay, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So that is what they're claiming are the practical effects of relativity.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's one of other examples.
And that's how they obfuscate us. That's how they obfuscate the true, simple truth. That's how they do it. Is they just layer
so to finish my point,
upon bullshit upon bullshit.
So this is one very good example that's very widely cited, and anyone who's gone to like fucking PhD in astrophysics, you can bring this point up. Okay, and please do. And they will be fucking.
Next time I'm hanging with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, no. Oh, you'll kill him with this.
I've already killed the dude.
Yeah, I know. But like, this is one of the things that are most widely cited that you can easily debunk, and you can do this. And I'm willing, and I've done it.
All right,
and so, I was talking with this guest from Canada, and so this guy's an engineer. He's a very bright and successful engineer in Canada. He makes these machines involving pumps and like high voltages and shit, and he's like the only one in Canada that can make those machines. And so anyway, I started kind of like hanging out with him because we had these cool conversations about engineering and physics and shit, and he does get it. It's not like a guy that can tell, like he's a guy that really does it. There's a lot of people out there, how you mentioned, they will masturbate with science terms, but they can't really do you a fucking equation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, the best scientists.
Like if you tell your brother or your father, like, take this chalk and prove to me relatively, 99.999% of the people can't do it.
No, but what I find interesting is like my dad to this very day is sitting down every day with his coffee and reading Einstein's theories and searching.
Yeah, because Einstein works with mind
to see through those eyes, because he's considered the great genius of our time by the mainstream. If only my dad knew that he was being so badly missteered, so that the simple reality would disappear from his reality, you know, so that he would be a better slave, so that he would be prostrate, I can't remember the word, at the feet of these giants of science.
Oh, prostrate. Yeah, no, but well, certainly, I mean, that's our mind-sized version of it. A lot of people, most people are in that camp. We're talking about Einstein and shit, though, and so like, he really did build a bridge between theoretical shit that was already too fucking weird. Even before the 20th century, all right, and he said, like, you know what, don't focus on the numbers, buddy. Let's think about trains and cars and things sliding along a plane, and keeping a chronometer, right? So these are things that we can make thought experiments, which is what he still is most famous for. And you know, as a Jew and shit, he made it so he made like a blockbuster out of that formula.
Yes.
All right.
Exactly. He
And
was
so-
a tool of promotion.
But not only that, this changed everything because that was what finally
He was-
allowed. Like every people were like, what?
Ultimately, he was a
And then-
social engineer.
But yeah, but not just like the people at large, but all the engineers were like, all right, so we got Einstein, so now we can build a bomb, right? And so no, but
Supposedly.
that changes everything,
That's
honey.
another thing.
Yeah.
Well, we
we
have
discussed
to
that, but
determine.
that's why it's the more interesting because
It's more
if
propaganda, maybe.
because if it's connected, that means
it's
that
all,
like,
it is connected.
I know, but if
It's
we can prove,
completely hand in hand.
but if you can,
It's
like,
one to
but
the
that's what I'm
next, to
saying.
the
Like,
next, dot.
I will not concede that point until I am able
Of
to explain it
course.
with a
Of
chalk
course.
or a stick and dirt. If
Of
I'm able to
course.
explain to everyone, dude, this is
Of
a
course.
lie because
Yes.
look.
Trust me, you're gonna
Then, yeah.
you're gonna have that stick
But
and
you
that
know, this
chalk.
is the kind of thing. You know, going back to the first example of like how satellites relate to fucking relativity. So this is one of the things that I never cared to check the math because
But like
you sort
going
of
back
trust
to
it.
this,
Well,
like we're talking about the speed of light, right?
but give me a second. So this is a. If this example is like every other example, then I believe most of the people have not actually made the math. Coming back to my friend from Canada.
Quite possibly, yeah.
So I was like, dude, and the conversation somehow, because always with me it comes to satellites and space and shit. I was like, dude, so you're such like an engineer and shit, like, and GPS and everything. Can we go through the math of relativity and calculate how much you gotta adjust a satellite that's X amount of kilometers away from the surface of the Earth? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, well, can we do it? He was like, no. And I'm like, you see, I've never done this calculation myself before, but I trust
Someone
everything I
has.
know that this calculation is somehow right, and then all the derivatives, realization, I just take
correct
for
as well,
granted.
of
No,
course.
I absolutely take it for granted.
Well, that's how
I can never go through all the math that's ever. And
That's
although
why this is
but I
a
try.
revelation,
No, but at
baby.
least I try. I'm not like the guys who speak about science and math. No. I really try.
I know,
And
that's
I go
what's
very
making
deep
you
into it.
interesting. That's why we're even friends. Otherwise, your ego would be
So-
butting up against you so hard you wouldn't even be able to
No,
be
but
in
I-
my company.
No, because I'm just a
Because it would
simple guy. I'm like,
irritate
you
you.
know what? It'll take me a lifetime. I cannot dedicate my life to the sciences and maths. But if you kind
You
of like
just
point
need
it,
to
I
ask-
understand it. I
Yeah, I'm
understand it
not
pretty
going to
well.
study engineering for 8 years so
But
that
you
I can
understand
debug
like
satellites.
forces and directions.
But we
you
don't
know?
need to.
Yeah.
This is what my point was earlier, right? And going back to this speed of light, but even the earlier point that we made, which was that we have to become our own authorities. We have to do our own experiments
Well,
where we
that's
can.
the
Wait,
whole thing.
let me make this point. We have to do our own experiments, and we have to. It has to be simple, and it has to be explainable, observable to everybody, and testable. Just
Yes.
wait. Give me one more minute
Okay.
to talk to you, because I just found this comment under a video, and it is so funny. I think it's profound. Science tells us, it's from a person called Wired Into the Grid. Science tells us nothing travels faster than light speed, right?
No,
what
that's not
what
true.
travels faster?
Like the expansion of the universe can always, and things within it can always travel faster than the speed of light. What's prohibited is for matter to reach that speed.
Okay, so
But the
keep
expansion
that,
is bigger
alright.
than mass. Yes.
Okay, so wait, holding on.
Yes, okay.
Just one
yeah,
second.
hold it.
So light from the sun takes 8 minutes to reach Earth from 93 million
Okay,
miles
I'm
away.
interested in that.
Here's the
Why did I get it wrong?
Here's the hypothetical for you. Two objects, A and B, 93 million miles apart. There's a man standing on object A.
But where did
and
they get
there's-
93? Okay. go
But
on.
it's a hypothetical.
No, but
Shush.
I show you the math.
Yes, but we're not arguing about that.
Okay.
That's irrelevant, whether it's
No,
93
no.
or 140
No, it's
or
not
3
irrelevant.
or 3,000. It is because I'm talking about a hypothetical here, and I want you to get one step further.
No, I know,
in.
but this is what
Can you
science
just let
is
me
saying.
finish
Yes.
2 more sentences?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're holding one end and I'm holding the other end of a piece of string. There's no sag in the string.
Uh-huh.
It's perfectly
It's
straight.
Uh-huh.
So if you tug on the string, how long is it going to be until I feel the tug? would the tug be felt instantly, or would there be an 8-minute delay?
Wait, so what was the
Since nothing can travel faster than light, materially, what would our answer be? That is hilarious, man. The thing is, it wouldn't take 8 minutes for me to feel the tug. The tug would be felt as soon as he did it. That's how light is. Light is instantaneous.
Yeah, but science says that, and I can show you.
Science says wrong things all day, every
there's
day.
a lot of things that you believe that science says that it doesn't really. It's just how
doesn't check out.
No. With the tides, for example, that a lot of what the correct science videos tell you is wrong. It's also the opposite. There's a lot of things that make you believe that science has got it wrong, but it actually has it right. And this is one of the things, like, and the analogous experiment is dropping a slinky, from a building and shit. How does the future know that the past has released
which part
the
of the slinky starts to drop first?
The top, and then this part doesn't even move because
gravity doesn't exist.
It doesn't even know that gravity. It doesn't acknowledge gravity.
There is no gravity.
No, exactly.
Because there's only density.
What it is a spring.
When the full amount of the spring implodes on itself, then the density of the entire relaxed object falls down.
A lot of people have. Like, you have to slap them
to believe that, to see it.
And I'm like, dude, no, I'm not trying to convince you, like, I'm just showing you how thing is.
The eyes see what the mind thinks it knows.
But because I know these things, and I know that experiments can totally fucking slap you around.
You know them well.
I'm agreeing with you.
I know you are, and that's incredible, because I know that you also happen to know that the speed of light is whatever, and you are able to suspend your beliefs for long enough to hear a theory. That's a great quality.
How come, for example, because I tend to criticize, flat Earth videos and shit, but how come the real videos?
You never criticize them in front of
me. No, they don't show you the math either. And I'm not believing in the video. I'm believing. Like, if you look, for example, to in scientific videos and shit.
You haven't even looked at flat Earth videos. You've seen about 10.
Are you serious?
You've seen about maybe 50.
Are you serious?
You haven't been 10
hours. I've looked at all of them, but no. With you? Come on, I've looked at them.
With me? Is that the only time you've watched them? I thought you were doing homework.
Yeah, but I've looked, and ever since, I've looked like a lot of flat Earth
I know, but you still are in
No. I'm bringing new points.
Oh yeah, but all I'm saying is
expanding this
you have no idea how many angles you have to attack it from.
No, but I'm learning from you. I mean, come on, give me time.
I'm not saying you're not going fast enough. You're fucking faster than I could even pass it on. You're coming to me with new things all the time because you are you're working it out in your own head. It's just the universe educates us.
But this is a special time for me because it's only like a year or two that I decided to throw everything again.
Because
like I was already alternative, you know.
We're all one consciousness.
When I came to the island, I changed completely my point of view. But 2 years ago, 1 year and a half ago, it did another fucking turn in the fucking right direction.
Me too.
And I think this is the truest direction. Maybe there's a truer, but
exactly.
I already feel like, wow, like no, this is. Hold on, let me just process this shit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going.
That's where we're all
now I'm going here.
Yeah.
And now, like, light and gravity doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. and you know, people say, where are we going to be next? Maybe in 5 years there'll be another and another and another greatest lie exposed. But
in our time, this is the shit, you know?
You know, if there was not another single great development in my life, I don't need it. This is enough for me to research until the day I die.
And not only that, but it's provable that we reach the limits of science as we think of science right now.
Science has got to be completely overhauled.
Come on, they built a fucking thing that crosses countries just to like spin shit.
We need a new word for something that is not viable science.
We're desperate for it.
Yeah.
And you know why? And
it's called natural science.
But it ties in with all the bullshit from like Cosmos of Seth MacFarlane and what I showed you. Even for me, that was a turn. But like, dude,
you just so surprised me how much you are prepared to believe it.
If I
But you still
If I had unlimited,
you're still on the fence about the moon landing.
no.
So
What I'm
that
saying,
makes it hard.
if somebody comes and tells me, like, dude, would you put your money on like sending this tin can that has all this cool shit inside just so we can listen to what's coming at us?
For 25 years.
And I would be like,
service.
yeah, do that. Like, do we have anything better? Like, yeah, it's gonna cost more and it's gonna take us, decades to perfect. But right now, this is what we can do. I was like, yeah, go for it. And you've seen the picture. Even you've come in love with the pictures that the Hubble has taken. And even I denied it. Like, dude, that's not the fucking Hubble and shit. It's just made.
CGI.
It's all CGI, and it is taken from data from the Hubble. But then,
no, it's not. That's
the
just what
shit
they
is
tell
enhanced.
you.
Well,
No,
what I'm saying is, like, yes.
The whole thing is enhanced. It's just somebody's fucking
It's
fairy
manipulated by a
farts.
computer. I agree 100%.
Someone's eating glitter and shitting on the fucking screen. That's what it is. And then we're eating it.
Well, but I told you that yesterday.
Yeah, I know you know it.
You see what I'm saying?
But
But a lot of
time,
people believe that what they're seeing in their screens
is exactly what's there.
That's like, oh, the galaxy's beautiful, dude. It's like all fucking unicorns and glitter, of course.
But it is beautiful, even if you just stand outside on the road.
It requires you to think before you can see it beautiful. Without the...
No, it doesn't. I mean, any little kid can just see the stars at night and be in awe and wonder.
Right, but then, okay, so if you give me that point, it means that it is okay to send shit over there so we can get images. It's a good idea.
The pretend images that are coming from the pretend Hubble are a lovely fantasy, but not when you realize that there are real people starving all over the world because NASA's got $19 million a year goes for these fake pictures and CGIs, and people are really on the streets sleeping. The money that's being stolen from everyone for tax. It's just so sad because we believe the gobbledygook that they feed us.
Well, okay. Would you agree with me? And just to forget, like all the previous points that we should get back to because these are good.
We will. We will. I already have 3 videos lined up.
No, but I wanted to say some shit that I kind of forgot at this second, but they were good. No, they were logical for the conversation that we're having. But
I want to show you a video about the way the heliocentric or the geocentric can both work with the same maths. A change, some air.
The globe.
Listen.
And the heliocentric model of the solar system.
I think
what a truly amazing accomplishment.
this really
of man.
beautifully explains
It took the
both
collective
can work.
efforts of some of the greatest minds of all time over 2,000 years.
Oh yeah,
to
there's the
invent
noise.
this model. It was a reverse engineered masterpiece. Every objection to the model always met with just another cleverly disguised reverse engineered explanation. For example, the lacking stellar parallax was rationalized by the stars being trillions upon trillions of miles away. A bunch of zeros were added to the end of their numbers to explain away what any common sense would refute. What these men did was invent a dual system of astronomy, a second model of the universe that can explain everything we observe. A model built on perfected mathematics that have no actual
This
relevance.
quote.
As George...
No, I'm listening.
No, but from Tesla. This quote, we've seen
I didn't
it
know
many
it before
times.
I met you, and that fucking
And now
blew me away because
it's in every fucking video.
How can he?
Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation and build a structure that has no.
Here's a great
relation to
example.
reality.
I have not verified this quote. I saw it the first time with you, and I thought, like, if Tesla said this, that means that he was fucking way more advanced for his time.
Tesla knew it wasn't a globe.
I mean,
he didn't say as much.
No, but then
But
that means that
hinted
he
at it.
foresaw where all this shit was going. Which
Absolutely.
nobody, like Steve Jobs is nobody.
We're still
and shit,
not
man.
there. Fucking Elon Musk is nobody, man.
Yeah, of course not. Well,
Fucking wanker actors. The
Okay.
Neil deGrasse Tyson,
But,
Brian
there's a
Cox,
lot of-
none of them
but-
are not.
I mean-
even Carl Sagan's a sellout.
yeah,
Like,
but there's a lot of
they're-
people who
You know,
just
even-
recently came off Tesla. I was a fan of Tesla like way before and shit, and like a lot of people have taken Tesla very seriously.
Because we have a new system of education called YouTube. We used to have TV. We used to have
and you
schools.
think people just naturally connect
Yeah,
with you? Yeah, right?
people are hungry
Yeah.
for truth after a
I
lifetime
guess I didn't
of
experience it
lies.
that way because when
Yeah.
I
We're
was a
past
fan
the
of
shit
Tesla,
like
it was before the
germs.
internet, so I was like,
yeah,
"Is
when
this guy
other
real?
people caught on.
No shit."
Yeah,
You
me
know?
too. You know what alerted me to Tesla? When I was 20, I read Linda Goodman's Sun Signs, and she was a crazy hippie astrologer from 1970. She was writing about Tesla because she lived in Cripple Creek, Colorado, where Tesla had the tower.
Yeah.
She knew all about who he was, and that's how I got alerted. But then there's been a resurgence in him, mainly because this flat earth awakening, this reappraisal of established science, and this scrutiny of the Freemasonic.
Okay, but do you realize how far ahead his time he was?
Yes,
or
he's
the
still
shit?
ahead of us now, right?
Yeah, because we're
He's over
according
100
to us,
he's
this
at
is like
least
the great
150
breakthrough that
years.
needs to happen. Tesla was like, "Ugh,
Yeah.
when are you getting over that?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
He would-
I'll wait for you on the other side, I guess. Like,
exactly, exactly,
you know?
exactly, and that's why I get the feeling like you could be adding your great brain to this fight. It is a fight.
No,
it's
I'm trying to
battle of
contribute.
good
I
and
mean,
evil.
that-
You are.
Whenever
You're a great contributor.
whenever I debate you, I'm just trying
You're
to
not
expand
even
on the
debating
shit.
me.
Yeah.
You're chatting with me, and you're bringing me great information. I love it.
That's all I try to do. And for example, when I stumble upon something that
I can't believe how much you put up with me just going gobbledygook, gobbledygook, Freemasonic bullshit, bum rumpling.
No, this is very
You don't-
profound because if we cannot perform a multiplication so simple that
Yeah.
it takes like 2 steps.
Yeah. But
That's-
Neil deGrasse Tyson has proven that he can't perform the
oh, that was my previous point. Thank
curvature.
you. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. The one that I claimed that I forgot. No, it all comes back to this shit. If you confront anyone who claims to be a scientist of the caliber of Carl fucking Sagan
Yeah.
or more,
Yeah.
alive today,
Yeah.
and you give them a calculator
Yeah.
and you tell them, explain to me how GPS has to do with Einstein, they're not going to be able to do it.
And what's the point?
The point is, even the people who are like the ultimate authority, I guess, or the ultimate popularizers of those theories, cannot perform a 2-step calculation or 3-step calculation to prove to you that relativity matters, with GPS or how much.
Okay,
I don't think
right.
so.
Well,
And-
this is the point, right? That's one aspect of this.
Yeah,
rich-
but what I'm saying is like
rich
if you show one thing
Yeah.
on the whole spectrum of shit
Yeah.
that we consider to be true,
Yeah.
if you just
Yeah,
show
that
one
kills it.
crack,
Yeah.
one crack
In
in,
the
that
dam,
whole
yeah.
thing, and maybe
everybody's got their
and you
crack.
don't know which one is gonna be popular because trends are stupid
Yeah.
and people are stupid and like you can never know. You
But-
can never predict what's going to be popular on YouTube next year.
Yeah.
It can be unboxings, it can be people
It doesn't
talking about
matter
shit.
if you're in a leading trend
Okay.
or if you've got no followers, as long as you've got
Alright, but
your
when-
own understanding.
But when you hit it right, you see what I'm saying? And it's
Well, there's different people that attack it with different aspects of facts. Like that would be the way for you. That's the one proof that you'd be talking to engineers when you meet them and pilots and
All
other
you
people.
need is
and
sufficient
you'd be
people.
saying that.
no. But if you plant a seed
Yeah.
that's inherently huge in comparison to all the other seeds, let's just put it like that. We're not
that's what
talking
some
about
people
fact
do.
or fiction. No. I'll be like,
Fuck, you've got me fucked. Exactly. Well, that's why. and your point.
Enough to get them talking.
Your point is great, but for me, it's very complicated. For me, there are so many more simple points.
But they never tried that before. That's what I'm saying. Let's go
your
further.
washing in the washing machine?
I know.
Let's go less far. Have you ever put your washing in the washing machine?
Sorry?
Have you ever put your washing in the washing machine?
Yeah.
And when you want to get the water out so you can hang it on the line,
I know where you're going. I understand
you spin
this.
it.
Yeah.
Because spinning pushes things out and off.
No, but what I'm saying is I'm talking about very specific things about this very specific establishment, about this very specific notions that everybody shares to be true. But, and like we've experienced just now, like if we were recording this moment, I can show to you how light speed does not fucking compute with the distance to the sun that we are told it is. And anybody can do a 2 fucking step calculation.
It's 47 million miles off or something.
And so either the information is wrong or they believe we're too fucking stupid.
Well, enjoy the ride, dude, because you've got a couple of years at least of having another 10,000 of these, oh my God, revelations of like, how did nobody see this? How did nobody see that?
So my next question is, how do people who like wake up, let's call it.
Yeah.
All right?
The majority of people don't want to.
And then who are they going to bounce this with? You're
going to bounce it with everybody.
No, but I understand. Like, I mean, you got to make a YouTube channel and shit. But
no, you don't. You just talk to people on the street.
No, I do that inherently.
Exactly.
And I will do that about what I'm thinking all the time.
Even if you don't make videos, it doesn't matter.
I know, but for the people who cannot get validation because they live in places that are already rotten enough that you cannot find.
To even be aware of this subject, you need to already be connected to people that are far away.
I'm proud of that.
All of us have.
Yeah, I would never see myself discussing this subject, and I'm going way beyond what I was fucking comfortable with a few months ago.
It's very huge, but not everybody's free enough. This is what you've got to understand.
I understand that, but because I understand that, I think I can tell you how to convince these people. You know what I'm saying?
Or independently wealthy. You've got to be able to know that you can still feed yourself if, when you are considered mad by the majority of the population, you're not going to lose your job.
Let me just interject there and say, like, yes.
You've got to be prepared for social ridicule.
No, but on top of that, I think...
And intellectual ridicule. Most people's egos are not even going to...
Yes, I will give you all
now,
that.
Now, how many months have you been looking at this? We've been...
A couple at least.
2 months. And you have been looking at this 6 weeks since we met. But before that, you'd already been exposed.
In me,
exactly.
But then when I got exposed to like the shit that you've been exposing me to...
And a few times a week, we're drilling the conversations.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And I'm interested. I don't know why you say... I'm tired of it. No, I'm very interested. In fact, that's why I keep myself awakened. Right?
That's what I mean. Once your mind is open and you start receiving the information and you can suspend your previous knowledge, that's when more and more comes.
Yeah.
And more proofs come.
But check it out. I always consider myself someone that's like sufficiently empathic and like diplomatic enough to make anyone see my point so that I can project that point to somewhere else. And that's what being like a Libra is, or whatever you want to call it. But I always consider myself to have that quality of being able to
negotiate,
communicate, and transmit, and then communicate back. And that's what being an interpreter is. You realize that, right? You're like, if you want to imagine it like this, you're the apex of the triangle.
Yes.
Because all the information that gets from, if you want to call it A to B, has to go, through C.
It's a powerful position.
And so this cannot happen if there's not this point, right?
And you can color it, twist it, influence it in a myriad of ways.
I do, all
with
the time.
subtlest things, according to your own bias, which is beautiful, And it's
there
great.
has to be a bias.
Yeah.
You just gotta make sure that your bias makes sense to the fucking circumstance.
To both people that they feel fairly represented.
I'm well aware of that bias and shit, and I think I can handle every situation
So you are a great communicator
better
for
than
this
expected.
subject.
Better than expected. Like above the industry standard.
I told you about this guy who commented on a video saying, I am a science teacher from Australian high schools,
I'm hearing you.
and my 2 degrees, I've gone back and looked for natural science proofs of everything that I teach my students, and I haven't found anything. I haven't found any proof for any of it, and I've realized that I've been a pawn in this insidious system of lies to control humanity.
Did the same research that I want to do. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
he's
he already
doing the
went through
same
it.
research that we're all fucking finding ourselves involuntarily doing.
But if he's a
dude.
teacher of like fucking physics,
I'm
like,
not
he has the same
sleeping with
questions
stuff
that I
out
have,
because
you know?
I'm bored. I would rather be watching the Kardashians. Trust me, I'm doing this because this is
this
important.
matters. No, this
That's
matters.
what I'm
This is
always
different.
saying to you. This is why I don't give a shit if I don't have a job
No,
for the
exactly.
day.
Like, you
because
do the
this
work
is
for
the
me. I
work
mean,
of life.
Yeah,
This is the
that's what I'm
great
saying.
work.
I'm attracted to you because it's the work.
This is the spiritual demons versus angels of all time.
The funny
This
thing is,
is
you're
getting
coming at
us
me from
back.
a completely different position, but we're gonna meet at
This
the
is
same point,
getting
and
us
this is
all
like,
back
incredible.
to our true power, our true empowerment, the true divine nature of our souls.
I'm completely taken aback by the fact that you're not afraid to say it.
Oh, I know it.
No, but you do.
I do know it. I
But
know
you say
it in my
and
soul.
That's not.
That's why I say it, because I'm driven. If you can't
Well, but
tell
I'm
now,
like that too. But
Yeah,
I'm just
I
coming
have
from a different angle.
I
You
have
see what
a
I'm saying?
rocket. Oh, man.
No, but I'm coming at a different angle. It doesn't look like I'm going as fast, but I'm accelerating
You
at the point that we're gonna hit the center at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
You are gonna. Your entire manifold of foundations is going to shift like a deck of cards, but it doesn't mean things are going to collapse. You are going to be so happy and so enriched because you found your way out of this mental maze and deliberate conditioning. That's the most. There are some big
In
revelations.
science terms, you have to defeat gravity.
Yeah, exactly.
You have
And
to
you know why
defeat
they
gravity.
even call it gravity? Because what is the meaning of the word gravity?
Something grave.
That it's serious.
It's grave.
And it's grave. And it is. It's all
Grav,
about.
yeah.
It's and truth. Gravitas. Truth. And the G on the Freemasonic symbol is G, gravity. It's all
yes,
a
I would
joke. It's
agree
their
with,
big joke on us.
Yeah.
And it's all, and the more you see, the more you can see, and it's such a great
Right,
time
but you have to understand.
to see that
If
even geniuses like your grandfather didn't see it.
Yes,
And that's what's exciting,
Here's
because
my
we're
point.
awakening up, and I feel that he's even excited living through us. Because you know, when you see mediums and you watch
Did I
a
tell
lot
you how
of
much
them,
I cried on the anniversary of
Yeah.
20th of his death?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I was
because
just
he's
like,
here and he's around. But whenever you see mediums work a lot, and they're genuine and they're good ones, and most of them aren't, so don't bother with ones that you don't trust. But find one that works with the cops on solving cases and stuff like that.
all right.
Those ones are great. They always will tell you how the dead, the ancestors, put out a seat for them whenever you have a party because they're around you. Talk about them. Talk to them in your head when you're in the shower, when you're watering the garden. When you feel them come into your energy, talk back.
Yeah.
But this
But
is
even
what I'm
that is
saying.
not proof. It's proof when you
It's proof
feel
when
it.
I get goosebumps on my legs and arms because
exactly.
I can't make
it's
that
proof
happen.
when you feel it. That's what I'm saying.
And feelings are our sixth sense. The feelings, the combination of all our senses and our
we have more than
intuitions.
6, but yeah.
Of course. So all I'm saying is that your grandfather was this incredible genius, and we both know that about him, regardless of
That's true.
regardless of what is or isn't written or whatever. We both know the spirit
I
of
think
the
that's
man.
the source of my not feeling worthy enough.
I know,
Like the shit,
but
you
what
know?
I'm saying is he's excited because he knows that this is going to fulfill you in the way that he was fulfilled, but it's also going to blow your mind how much he missed out on. He saw so much, but
Well,
he
that's why I
didn't see so much. And even the fact that he found live cells in dinosaur skeletons.
Yeah.
And that this is something that confused and befuddled him at the end of his life. And it even confused and befuddled you. And when I told you, oh yes, some professor in some university just successfully sued the university because they said he was letting his religious beliefs get in the way of their school's political teachings. And he successfully sued them because he had found fossils of dinosaurs with live fucking cells or some live tissue in it. So what I'm saying to you is this is a beautiful time to be alive for anybody who has an open mind.
I agree with that 100%.
I'm so impressed that your ego is in check enough that you are able to learn and teach yourself. Yeah. Because you have to teach yourself.
Well, I'm disappointed.
Nobody can teach you.
I'm disappointed at how little we've fucking advanced as a species.
Of course, we all are once we start waking up to this. But you know what?
Okay.
You get over that, and you
but
get into a new level of excitement of fuck. Like that kid in the Truman Show.
Yeah, but you can't.
The world isn't all explored. There's more places to go. Not only that, in every aspect of science that we think is established, we need to re-establish it from a natural science perspective. And all the theocratic stuff that is accepted, settled science that's been brought to us from the Freemasons.
Yeah, you gotta throw that away.
Throw that in one basket and bring it back one piece at a time.
No, it's
when
interesting.
you can cross-reference it with enough concrete stuff.
No, it's interesting because it's kind of like lovely in a historical perspective.
It's a big wank. It's a big load of cum across the wall.
But of course it has its merit to study like what came before. Okay, yeah, do that and tell me.
To me it's like blue poles. It's
I'm gonna be honest.
Throwing paint on a canvas.
I want to be honest.
And the CIA,
I'm fascinated
the
by
CIA
history.
made that painting important. There was a painting by Jackson Pollock. He just threw paint on a thing, and it is actually very beautiful. I've seen it. I love it.
Yeah, no, I have it. This is my poster on top of my bed.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful poster.
Yeah.
But at the same time, do you know that the CIA was involved in making certain artists famous?
But
they even control art world.
No, but that's
like
why
they control music, they control movies.
Yes, but that's why art and music and everything transcends any political epoch
no,
that you want to tell me
anymore.
about. Of course, because when you hear it later, you can understand that in a contained context.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. You can see the influence.
That's what history is like. Oh, these guys were fighting about this shit when all this shit was here. Yeah. And you know, historical perspective it's all about that, right? It's like, okay, how does our conception of reality affect our behavior? That's what history is. And history is interesting. It's fun. And it's also like you can learn a lot from it. So it's a useful useless pursuit. History is. But I think what we know as history with a capital H, you know, what they show you in the history, not even the History Channel, but history, you know, the whole subject of history is, dude, come on, it's all limited
it's complete
shit,
rubbish.
and it's all broken and
it's
like
written by the winners.
And
it's
so
written by the racists.
Like, what we call prehistory is filled with a lot more stories than what we call history
it's
is.
all
like
been
it's nothing.
Stolen, kept, obfuscated. It's all been incorrectly.
I don't even think they
down.
have even fucking uncovered it. Most of it, anyway.
I agree. I think it's possible.
That's why my book, the
have.
book that I want to write, is about that. It's like, dude, forget history. And if you forget history, that includes science, it includes
dinosaurs,
religion, it includes dinosaurs,
it includes evolution, it includes heliocentrism.
Every fucking thing. And my book is like, you're reading it as like, yes, I'm interested in science and lasers. Welcome. And then I was like,
well, this
holy
is where
shit, this could happen.
Yeah.
Like we could discover, we can just uncover something right now, or even if I'm writing in the future, and be like, dude, this thing that we just uncovered.
We now know where we need to look.
Yeah.
We need to look north. We need to look south, but we really need to look north.
Yeah, and so this is about that, and then
we need to look into the past, the real distant past.
By looking at this.